Good morning, it is Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and it's Tuesday. Sorta. Don't ask me about it. It's been a week. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for all the old who have stuck around for all this long time. And it's going to be a fairly short one today because, well, maybe not. I'm going to do a rant. But I think you'll enjoy it. What I've been working on are the stress balls that we are making. Now, we're calling them stress balls, but they're really just little small balls for the young kids in the psychiatric facility at the Meadows. One of our gals, and this is a gal that doesn't come to prayer shawl. It is a friend of my partner in crime, and she makes plastic canvas. She's making some Christmas baskets, and we're going to put some little goodies in there and some the little stress balls to go with it. Now, for finished items, not a whole lot of finished items other than those stress balls, and I have 3 knitted white baby hats, and I have another that is started. And I know I told you, maybe I didn't tell you, I don't know. Last week on Monday we were contacted by UPMC. As you know, Williamsport, Pennsylvania is the home to the World Little League playoffs, and they start August the 20th, I believe. So the hospital wants to make these kits, and they did this in 2019. They didn't do it in 2020 because of COVID. But what we have always done in the past is make these cute little baseball hats for them. And this is a pattern at littleredwindow.com. It is a knit pattern. Now, I have made Ombakwa's newborn beanie crocheted many times for this as well. But of course, as you know, when you get to do the red stitching with crochet, the stitches do not sit directly on top of each other. They kind of go sideways. So what I have done in the past is just take crochet thread of a different color and weave it in up over where I want those stitches to go on the crochet hat, and then put in the little V-stitches to make it look like the stitching of the baseball. So, and you really can't fault the people who've asked for these things because they really don't know how long it takes to make things. They are not knitters and crocheters. I did tell the gentleman that, yeah, we'll do what we can. We can't guarantee that we can get you 20 because quite a few of the ladies do not knit. And those that knit do not like to do baby hats because, as you know, when you do a baby hat, if you're using a 16-inch needle, when you get the brim part here, which is a 1x1 purl knit, it's pretty difficult. It can be pretty tight on a 16-inch needle. Now, I've ordered some 12-inch needles because I know this is going to be something that is happening every year, you know, unless God knows what happens. But so I did order some 12-inch circular needles, and then I thought, you know, one at a time annoys me. That's why I don't make socks. It's because it's one at a time. So I thought, oh, why don't I just pull my big long needles, you know, the long cord, and just do a magic loop. Which I've done that before for gloves, mittens, no issues there. So I have decided to do that. But I did want to tell you, these just yarn that you get at Dollar Tree, they do make almost 3 baby hats, newborn, with that pattern. So, you know, I had a couple of the white left over, so that's what I'm using to make these with. And, yeah, that's kind of the finished objects I have. I did work on some of the other things, but I didn't bring them up, you know. It's just one of those things. And for those of you that follow Kristie on Hook Me Up, Kristie, why can't I remember your name? You know, Hook and Homies, Tennessee, you know. I'll put the link down below or across the screen. There. Anyway, she did a rant, and it was basically talking about channels that, yes, they have a subscription, you know, where you can join and you get special perks and all that fun stuff. And she basically pointed out, well, nobody wants to hear that every time you come to their channel. You know, a lot of us are on fixed incomes or for whatever reason don't want to purchase that, and it's, you know, you don't want to hear that. So now that I've said that, I have a fundraiser. No, I'm kidding. Not this time. Maybe next time. But I also have another issue with a lot of channels. As you know, I don't really go to a lot of lives. I have been trying to get myself to where I do lives, not me doing them, but going to them to watch them. But the thing that I find really annoying about lives is this constantly, hi Julie, welcome in. Hi Sarah, welcome in. You know, because it's constant. And that drives me nuts. That's why I don't watch a lot of lives. Now, there are a couple of people like the Yarn Hookers and Affordably Crafty and Yarn Geek that do some lives, and they always have a topic. Now here's my annoyance with that. When I get on those lives and I see like they're going to talk about, let's say, tips and tricks for whatever, crochet, finding crochet patterns or whatever, you know, freebie, those kind of things. But they will have this inane chatter for an hour, hour and a half. What I would prefer that they do is they put in the description down below where they talk about they're going to just do chatter, talk, nonsense, you know, how things going in your life, blah, 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 how are you doing, blah, 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 for an hour, for the first hour. And then at the second hour, then they're going to get into those tips and tricks, or they're going to get into the subject that they have labeled that live about. The one thing I love about going to J Hook's Yarn University is, you know, the first 30 minutes is just chatter. So that you can just, you know, kind of tune it out, whatever you want to do, or watch it, and then you're going to get into the meat of that video about 31 minutes into the video, the live. I like that. But my biggest thing, and I'm going to say this, and it may offend some of you that do lives, but I actually think it's lazy content creators that use lives like they do, because you know, they don't want to film it and then put that information out for you, have comments, those kind of things. They want to do it live so they can get everything done at once and they can get their little chatter in, their little friendship chatter, that kind of stuff. And I find that annoying. I just do. And I don't think I'm the only one. I think there are a lot of us that do that way. Maybe it's because we're older and, you know, some of the younger kids like the chatter, you know, the nonsense and the silliness and whatnot. And that's fine. But, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I think it's the lazy creator in you that does a lot of lives instead of doing film things that are, you know, controlled, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy. Alright, we'll go with that. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. Alright, that is that. Okay? Like I said, it is going to be a really short one. I believe that's the only other thing I wanted to talk about with lives is, you know, if you are going to do a live and you're doing a subject in that live, do your viewers a courtesy to put in the description that says after an hour of just chatter, getting to know people in the chat, those kind of things, then we will get into what the video is about, what the live subject matter is. I'd really appreciate that, so I'm not wasting an hour listening to stuff I could care less about. Yeah, I'd like to know what's going on with people, but you know, after you've been to 10 lives in one day, you basically have a clue. Okay, guys. There is one other thing. As many of you know, Melanie with Hook to the Left lost her husband recently. It was a very sudden passing, and there is a GoFundMe page for her to help her and Rowan in dealing with this, because I don't know if you know, but there are a lot of costs involved with burying a loved one. If you don't already have a plot for the cemetery, there's cost for that. If you're having a funeral, then there's a cost for that. If you're a member of a church, many times church, you know, won't charge you. But if you're not a member of a church, many times the cost is anywhere from $100 to $200 for that. A lot of the churches that do this will provide a meal for the people, you know, that are there for the funeral, afterwards, reception, that kind of thing, that's included in that fee. But then you got to pay the pastor, and of course, then there's the Grim Reaper. And those of you that are in the funeral business, I'm sorry, but that's what I always call it, because there's the cost of casket, embalming, those kind of things. There is a fee for that. I will tell you that when my daughter passed away, she basically had told me she wanted to be cremated. And we talked about this years prior, you know, because she was asking me what I wanted. And, you know, her thing was she wanted to be cremated, and then she wanted me to jump out of a plane and spread her ashes. But, baby girl, that didn't happen, so sorry. But we've been spreading your ashes all over the world anyway. My son takes, when he goes for trips overseas, he spreads some ashes, those kind of things. But, and I will tell you, this was about 11 years ago. The cost for just I don't want to say a cardboard box, but it's a very thin pine box, to cremate her was $1,000, easily. So those costs are really high. So if you can go help with even just $1, $2 for this GoFundMe to help Melanie and Rowan get through this and help them pay for all those crazy fees that you have to have when someone passes away, I'm sure Melanie and Rowan would be extremely grateful. Like I said, that link will be down below. It will be above everything else so that you can go there and help those two beautiful people. All right. Are you ready for a little what in tarnation? You know, games, selling sealed games of the old world for Nintendo has been a very profitable thing lately. And it continues to be. Super Mario game sells for $2 million. Breaks weeks-old record. A sealed copy of the Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System sold for $2 million, breaking a record for video game sales that was set less than a month ago. And I read you that. Collectibles investment website Rally announced the new in-box copy of the 1985 video game was purchased by an anonymous buyer for $2 million, breaking a record that was set in July when a copy of Super Mario 64 sold for $1.56 million. Super Mario 64 game was sold just 2 days after the previous record amount of $870 was paid for a copy of the 1987 Nintendo game, The Legend of Zelda. I think that we're starting to see a natural progression of what else? What are the things that I've appreciated and valued from my childhood that have that nostalgia? Rob Petrozzo, one of the founders of Rally, told the New York Times, sales of collectibles have surged since the start of COVID-19 pandemic, and Petrozzo said he believes the trend of vintage video games selling for record prices is far from over. In my opinion, it hasn't reached the masses, he said. You'll soon start to see a lot more people paying attention and doing research. And I think I told you about my mother-in-law's house. They are, my brother, sister-in-law, my niece, nephew, are cleaning out her house. And in that they found my husband's original Game Boy. And this is one that had a charger that plugged into the back, but if people used the charger, it kind of burned up the Game Boy. Well, he had the one that had the batteries in it, and he took very good care of it, games on it. So when the auctioneers came through looking, you know, he was very interested in that Game Boy. And started looking at it, and, you know, is this included in it? And they said no. He was very disappointed. And I can imagine why, you know, seeing that kind of trend. So, next story. And this kind of goes hand in hand with my mother-in-law cleaning out her house. We told them they need to start going through the books, encyclopedias, all the books, you know, open them up, shake them out, because we know that she did hide money in those books, other things. There were important documents, those kind of things. Waste workers fined $25,000 accidentally thrown out by Ohio family. Waste collection workers in Ohio were able to reunite $25,000 cash with the family that accidentally threw it out while helping a grandmother clean her home. Republic Service officials in Lorain County said a call came in last week from a family who reported an envelope containing $25,000 had accidentally been thrown in the trash just before the garbage truck came through the area. They were cleaning out their house for their grandmother, and they cleaned out the refrigerator, threw out all the garbage, grabbed all the freezer stuff and put it in a bag, and then Grandma was like, "Hey, there's an envelope with $25,000 in there. Don't lose it." Of course, I guess the daughter or granddaughter said, "Grandma, I already lost it. It's in the garbage." Operations Supervisor Gary Caban told WSTV. Capan said his team was able to contact the truck driver before he reached the landfill. And that's very important to this story. Because a lot of these places, once the truck is emptied, they start smoothing things out, and it's gone forever. And he was diverted to a recycling facility in Oberlin so workers could go through the contents of the vehicle. Dan Show, the operations manager at the recycling center, said it only took about 10 minutes of searching to locate the right bag. Show said it felt good to be able to provide a happy ending for the story. It can be a very, very difficult. It's rare that we find something for somebody. So this is like the biggest one I've seen in 30 years, he said. Sanitation workers in New Jersey were able to facilitate a similar reunion in May when a woman's 10-year-old son accidentally threw the bag away with her stored wallet, ring, and a few other precious items. And there, they searched for an hour and a half and were able to return those items to Ruth Watson. So if you're cleaning out the family home, check everywhere. Check everything. And I'm reminded of I don't know if he was a senator or representative in one state, Thomas Jefferson, I think is actually what his name was, or something like that. He had like $100,000 wrapped up in foil in his freezer. And that was his downfall because it was, I guess, embezzled money. So, don't ever just throw things out without looking in the bags, looking in the foil. You never know, there might be something special there. A fish with a mouth of human-like teeth caught in North Carolina. A North Carolina angler's catch is going viral after Facebook posts revealed he reeled in a fish with a mouthful of human-like teeth. Now, I find the photo scary, but whatever. Jeanette's Pier, a popular fishing destination in Nag's Head, posted photos to Facebook showing angler Nathan Martin posing with the 9-pound sheep's head fish he reeled in this week. The post, hashtagged Big Teeth Big Times, was shared hundreds of times on the social media site with commenters pointing out the human-like qualities of the fish's teeth. It's a very good fight when you're fighting on the line. It's a really good catch, and it tastes very good, Martin told McClatchy News. Sheep's head fish are known for their teeth, which allows them to eat omnivorous diets. They are typically found in coastal areas, including North Carolina. Omnivores eat meat and vegetables alike. Okay. Thrift store seeking family connected to a 146-year-old marriage certificate. Wow. A North Carolina thrift store employee cleaning out an antique print found a nearly 150-year-old marriage certificate hidden inside the frame, and the store is now hoping to return it to family members. Pam Phelps, an employee at the Hope Chest thrift store in Bolivia, said she was cleaning an antique 1889 print of a painting depicting a small girl and a dog when she found something hidden in the back of the frame. The concealed item was a marriage certificate issued in 1875 to groom William and bride Katie in Bordertown, New Jersey. Karen Smith, Executive Director of Hope Harbor Home, the charity that runs the thrift shop, said the last name on the faded certificate is difficult to make out, but the group is hoping to find living relatives of the certificate so the family heirloom can be returned. We're going to try. In fact, we're trying right now, Phelps told WIT TV. We've got it on Facebook, so we've got the word out. If anybody has any idea or can help us at all, that would be great. And of course, the links are down below. So folks, spread that, share it far and wide. If you're on Facebook, share it so that people can start looking and see if they can find this family. I mean, those are amazing stories when you can actually locate the family. All right, guys, that's it for today. Everybody have a great day, and remember to choose kindness. I do have one more story for you, and I will tell you this. I went to sign up for some affiliate programs and some other things, and as part of that, I put in my webpage. Yeah, I have a webpage, or I did. I put up the webpage, published it, put a couple other postings up on it, and I get this message back from one of the groups that I had, signing up for the affiliate. We can't wait to see your website once it's published. What? It is published. So I go looking. And you know what it says? It says coming soon. Scraptastic Yarns. WordPress. I paid for a year's worth of service for your website. Where's my website? We have to be in Mercury retrograde, right? It has to be, right? So anyway, I'm trying to locate what happened to it. And of course, it, like Google, it's hard to get through, or YouTube, get through to anybody who has a clue. So it's somewhere out there. I don't know where it's at. And it was published at one point, and now it's gone. So I'm doing that, as well as looking into church websites and church website providers to update the church website. So, y'all, I could use some prayers this week. All right, that's it. Be kind to one another, love one another, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.